Hi everyone, Michelle here, and today I am going to be talking about tech packs. I'm going to be explaining what tech packs are, why they're important, and give you a bunch of tips on how to create your own tech pack from scratch so that you can send to your manufacturer and get a viable sample and production. Okay, so what is a tech pack? A tech pack is a document that includes all details about a garment design. So that includes a flat sketch, that includes all of the fabric details, that includes all of the measurements of the garment, plus grading. And grading is what a garment measures in between size ranges. And we can talk a little bit more about that later. The tech pack also includes all fabric information and any details about the garment that will impact the fit or the construction. And just so we're clear, with a tech pack, you can include your artwork and colorway details if you want to, but those can also be sent separately in a separate file to your manufacturer. What the most important thing is that you should remember about a tech pack is that it includes anything that's going to affect the fit or the construction of your piece of apparel, of your garment. So anything that affects the fit or construction, that's going to affect the sampling or production in a fit or construction way, is important for your tech pack. Artwork, colorway, and other details, print details, can be sent in separate files if you prefer to do it that way. It's really just what the best practices that you have with your specific manufacturing partner. Okay, so why do we even need tech packs? Tech packs are required for our manufacturing partners in order for them to make the garment correctly, according to our design, our measurements, our aesthetic, our brand's aesthetic. They're also required in order for our manufacturing partners to be able to give us correct costing, to tell us how much it costs to sample something or produce something in certain quantities and certain fabrics. Tech packs are also especially important if you don't make your own garment patterns. So many designers don't create their own patterns from scratch. Their manufacturing partners create them for them, which is great. But this makes it even more important to have a viable, usable tech pack. When you have a clear tech pack with all the details required, it makes it so much easier for your manufacturing partner to create a sample for you, get the measurements right, get the costing right. So if you don't create your own patterns and they do it for you, you really need a clear tech pack in order to kind of show them the way, give them all the details, and make everything clear to them. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about grading. And just a reminder, grading is basically the measurements between size ranges. So you're going to probably want to learn how to do your own grading for a tech pack. And that just means you have control on the measurements of all of the size ranges of your garment. You're not just giving your manufacturer, let's say, a size medium or a size 8 and allowing them to grade up and down, but you have control of it. So let's say you have a pant and your pant is sized extra small through extra large, and you want to keep the pant length the same length throughout every size. You just realize that, you know what, even if someone's a size extra large or a large, they're probably not that much taller than someone who's a size small or extra small. And this is really the case often when you look at height, average height, if you really dive deep into that with, let's say, women's clothing. All right, so you have this pant, you want to keep it the same length throughout the size ranges. All you're going to do with grading is grade the waistband length, the width maybe across the leg and the leg opening, but you're going to keep the outseam and the inseam, the length of the pant, the same throughout the size ranges. So that outseam and inseam wouldn't grade, but the waistband length, the width of the leg, and the leg opening will grade in varying ways throughout the size range. The way you grade also depends on how many sizes you have, what your sizes are. Let's say you have something that's small through a large. Your grade is probably going to be a little bit larger than if you have something in every single size. Let's say you have something in a 0 through a size 14 and you're doing 0, 2, 4, 6, etc. If you're grading between size ranges like that, your grading is going to be smaller because you have many more size ranges. If you're grading small through large or extra small through extra large, your grading will be a little bit bigger between size ranges because it has to fit, less sizes have to fit more people. So what should your tech pack specifically include? First, you should include a flat sketch. A flat sketch of your garment or apparel design that's front and back. It should show all stitching details, all construction details, all seams, all trims, all relevant details about the apparel style, including what we call call-outs, which are any important construction details about the style that you feel should be called out basically to the manufacturer so that they know how to create the sample or create the production. Flat sketching can most easily be done in Adobe Illustrator. It's a very straightforward program to use for flat sketching. Of course, you need to get trained on how to use it, but it will probably be the most efficient program to use, software to use, and it's the industry standard currently for flat sketching. It's vector-based, so it's really not pixelated, it's very clear, and it's very good for flat sketching. So the next thing we want to include in our tech pack is a graded garment spec. So we just talked about what grading was, but a graded garment spec is basically every point of measurement for your garment in every size range with a measurement listed out for that size range. So you're giving your manufacturer every point of measurement that will help them get the sample right, get the garment right, the production right, and the measurements. You're grading through every size range and listing every point of measurement. So within your tech pack, you really should include all key measurements for a garment. Just really basic key measurements that all types of garments should have. Let's say for a pant, you obviously want to have the inseam, the outseam, the waistband length, the waistband width, the rise, front and back, those types of things. But then you can also include any specific measurements for the style of pant you're doing that's going to help your manufacturer make your sample correctly, not make your sample incorrectly so that you have to order another sample. So better to have too many POMs and you can delete some later than to have not enough and get an incorrect sample and keep having to order and pay for more samples, or worse even, to get incorrect production. You should also include any fabric and trim details and reference numbers within your tech pack. This is just going to help minimize any kind of confusion or mistakes with which fabric your samples are being made in, and it's going to just make things easier and straightforward. Also, fabric and trim obviously impacts the construction, the fit of your garment, as well as the price of your garment. So those details need to be confirmed and put into your tech pack so that you have a viable, working, correct tech pack for your manufacturing partner. What is also helpful to include is photos or inspiration of any fabric, trims, styling details that you've collected that will help your manufacturing partner get the vibe or the feel of your style. It's not necessarily to say, knock this off or do it like this, but it's to say, this is kind of the look I'm going for, and to kind of relay a feeling for what you're trying to design. You have to be very careful about intellectual property. You never want to steal anybody else's design or property or anything like that. But it is very helpful to use photos, images, even your own drawings to relay the vibe or the feeling of an apparel style. It's also helpful to take photos of trims that you see. Let's say you have a vintage dress and there's a beautiful lace trim on it that you love. You could take a photo of that lace trim and put it within your tech pack and say, can you source a lace similar to this for my dress? There is absolutely nothing wrong with this. And I'm going to do another video on all of this intellectual property stuff later down the line. So now let's talk about labels within your garment. So Obviously, if you have an apparel brand, you're going to want to have your own label, and you're going to want to design that label and give your manufacturing partner the artwork. And what they'll usually do is they'll source the label within a label manufacturer that they have a relationship with. So either you can source that separately on your own, or if, let's say, you're working with an overseas manufacturer, you can just give them the label artwork and they can usually get the label made for you and actually cost your garment with the label in it. So they'll just basically buy the label separately from the label manufacturer and add that cost or include that cost into the cost of your garment. So we can also talk more about that in a separate video, but you are going to want to, for the purpose of a tech pack, you are going to want to call out where the label is. If it's a top, maybe it's in the back neck, maybe it's in the bottom side seam. If it's a pant, maybe it's in the back waist. You're going to want to call out where the label is stitched within the garment. So don't forget to do that in your tech pack. Okay, so just to quickly recap what you need to include in a tech pack. Your sketch, front and back, very clear with all details shown in the flat sketch. Your graded spec measurement, showing all size ranges with measurements and grading in between size ranges. Your fabric and trim details, any reference numbers, any specific fabric details, weight, construction of your fabric is all important to include in there. Your label placement, where your label is going to be sewn within your garment. And any kind of inspiration sample that shows, you have a sample that shows the vibe, the feeling, any kind of specific trim, any kind of look you're going for with your apparel design, especially if it's complicated, it's helpful to put that into. Just be mindful of intellectual property and make sure your manufacturer knows that it's just for inspiration, for reference. Okay, so that should be everything, and I'm excited to come back soon with more fashion apparel topics.